What would you do if you had everything money could buy but felt more alone than a person with nothing? If you are enjoying this story, please like, share, and subscribe to Echoes of Stories. We would love to know where you are watching from. We love hearing from you. Benjamin Thornwood sat frozen in his wheelchair, staring through the enormous glass window at the world he could no longer touch. The garden stretched before him like a painting he could look at but never step into. Flowers bloomed in colors so bright they seemed to mock him. Trees swayed in the wind like they were dancing just to show him what he had lost. Birds landed on the fountain and splashed water everywhere, free to go wherever they wanted. But Benjamin could only watch, always watching, never living. It had been 5 years since the car crash. 5 years since his legs stopped working. 5 years since he felt like a real person instead of a statue made of anger and bitterness. His mansion was the biggest house anyone in the city had ever seen. It had 30 rooms with ceilings so high your voice would echo if you shouted. Crystal lights hung everywhere, throwing rainbow colors across the white walls when the sun hit them just right. The floors were made of marble so shiny you could see your face in them like looking into a still lake. Golden picture frames held paintings of places Benjamin would never visit again. Mountains he used to climb. Beaches where he used to run. Cities where he used to dance until his feet hurt. Fancy furniture filled every space, each piece costing more money than most families earned in a whole year. Outside, the gardens went on forever. There were fountains that shot water high into the air. Rose bushes in every color you could dream of. Trees so old they had been there when Benjamin's great-grandfather was just a little boy. Everything was perfect. Everything was beautiful. Everything was cold and empty, just like Benjamin's heart. Benjamin was 42 years old, but he felt ancient, like a dried-up tree that had forgotten how to grow leaves. Before the accident, life had been an adventure. He climbed mountains that touched the clouds. He swam in oceans where dolphins played beside him. He drove fast cars and laughed with friends and kissed pretty women under the stars. His smile came as easy as breathing back then. His laugh was loud and real and full of pure joy. Now his face was stuck in an angry scowl that made everyone afraid to look at him. His eyes were hard and cold like chips of ice. His mouth was always pulled down in a deep frown. When he spoke, his words came out sharp and cutting, like tiny knives meant to hurt anyone who heard them. He wanted everyone to feel just as miserable as he felt. If he had to live in this prison of a body, then everyone around him would suffer too. 8 people worked in his mansion, and every single one of them was terrified of him. There was Mrs. Patterson, the head housekeeper. She had gray hair pulled back so tight it made her eyes look stretched. She walked fast and talked even faster, always worried about keeping everything spotless and perfect. There was James, the butler. He stood straight as a soldier and never smiled, not even a tiny bit. His footsteps were so quiet you never heard him coming. There were 3 cleaning ladies who moved like ghosts through the house, silent and invisible. They whispered to each other in corners, but never loud enough for Benjamin to hear the actual words. There was a cook named Bernard who made food that looked like pieces of art on fancy plates, though Benjamin barely tasted any of it anymore. There was Peter, the gardener, who spent all his time outside because he was too scared to come inside where Benjamin might yell at him. And there was Thomas, who drove the car and ran errands, grateful that his job kept him away from the house most days. They all did their jobs perfectly. Not a single speck of dust lived in that enormous house. Every floor gleamed like new. Every meal was cooked exactly right. Every flower in every vase was fresh and beautiful. But they did not do these things because they cared about Benjamin. They did them because he paid them huge amounts of money. Money that made them willing to put up with his terrible moods and cruel words. Money that kept them coming back day after day, even though being near him felt like standing too close to a fire that might burn you at any moment. Benjamin liked it that way. He did not want people to care about him. He did not want friendship or kindness or warm feelings. Those things were for people who still had hope, and Benjamin had run out of hope a long time ago. He wanted servants who did what they were told and then disappeared. He wanted silence and distance and walls between him and every other human being on earth. Then one gray morning in October, everything changed. Mrs. Patterson knocked on the door of Benjamin's study, where he sat looking at papers he was not really reading. Her hands were shaking just a little bit, the way they always did when she had to talk to him. "Mr. Thornwood, sir," she said in a thin, nervous voice. "I need to inform you that Sarah has quit. She left this morning without any warning. That means we are short one maid, and I have taken the liberty of hiring a replacement. She will start today." Benjamin did not even look up from his papers. "I do not care what the staff does as long as the house stays clean. Just make sure this new person knows the rules. No talking to me unless I talk first. No asking questions. No trying to be friendly. Work and stay invisible. That is all I require." "Yes, sir," Mrs. Patterson said quickly, and rushed out of the room like she was escaping from a dangerous animal. 2 hours later, Benjamin was in the library, the one room in the house where he felt closest to being comfortable. Books lined the walls from floor to ceiling. He could not climb the ladder to reach the high shelves anymore, but just being surrounded by all those stories made him feel less trapped. He was reading about a man who sailed across the ocean when he heard footsteps. Someone was coming down the hallway, and these footsteps sounded different. They were not the scared, tip-toeing steps of his usual staff. These steps were normal, relaxed, like someone taking a walk in a park. Benjamin felt his anger rising immediately. Did this new person not know who he was? Did she not understand that everyone in this house was supposed to be afraid? The door opened, and a young woman walked in carrying a basket of cleaning supplies. She had dark hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. Her face was plain but had kind eyes that looked directly at Benjamin without any fear at all. She wore the same black and white uniform all the maids wore, but somehow she made it look less like a costume and more like regular clothes. She smiled at him. Actually smiled, like they were friends meeting for coffee. "Good morning," she said in a warm, cheerful voice. "You must be Mr. Thornwood. I am Lily Harper, the new maid. Mrs. Patterson said I should dust the library today." Benjamin stared at her like she had just spoken in a language from another planet. No one smiled at him. No one used that happy, casual tone. No one looked him in the eyes like he was just a normal person. Who did this girl think she was? Did Mrs. Patterson not explain the rules? Benjamin asked, his voice cold enough to freeze water. "Oh yes, she did," Lily said, still smiling as she started dusting a bookshelf. "No talking unless you talk first, stay invisible, all of that. But I figured those were just suggestions. You look like you could use some company." Benjamin felt his face turn red with fury. His hands gripped the arms of his wheelchair so hard his knuckles went white. "Those are not suggestions. They are orders. I do not want company. I want you to clean and leave." "Understood," Lily said, but she did not sound scared at all. She just kept dusting, humming a little tune under her breath like she was having the best day of her life. For the next 20 minutes, Benjamin tried to focus on his book, but he could not. He was too angry, too confused. This Lily person was breaking all the rules, acting like his anger did not even touch her. It was driving him crazy. Finally, he slammed his book shut with a loud bang that echoed through the library. "Stop that humming immediately," he snapped. Lily stopped and turned to look at him. "Does it bother you?" "Yes, it bothers me. Everything about you bothers me." "I am sorry you feel that way," Lily said, and she actually sounded like she meant it. "I will try to be quieter." "You will try." Benjamin nearly shouted. "You will do what I tell you, or you will be fired before the day ends." Lily tilted her head and studied him for a moment, and Benjamin felt something strange. She was not looking at his wheelchair or his twisted, angry face. She was looking deeper, like she could see something inside him that even he had forgotten was there. "Mr. Thornwood," she said softly, "I will follow your rules. But I think you should know something. I have met mean people before, truly cruel people who enjoy hurting others. You are not one of them. You are just someone who is in a lot of pain and does not know how to let anyone help." Then she picked up her basket and walked out of the library, leaving Benjamin sitting there with his mouth hanging open, unable to think of a single word to say back. For the rest of that day, Benjamin could not stop thinking about what Lily had said. Her words kept bouncing around in his head like a ball that would not stop moving. No one had ever talked to him like that before. No one had ever looked past his anger to see the pain hiding underneath. It made him feel exposed, like someone had opened a curtain he had been hiding behind for 5 long years. He told himself he would fire her tomorrow. She was too bold, too comfortable, too different from what he wanted. But when tomorrow came, he found himself waiting to hear her footsteps in the hallway. He listened for her humming. And when she walked past his study without coming in, he felt something that surprised him. He felt disappointed. Days turned into weeks, and Lily kept working in the mansion. She followed most of the rules, but not all of them. She stayed quiet when Benjamin was reading. She did her work perfectly, never missing a spot of dust or leaving anything out of place. But she also did small things that broke through the walls he had built. She would leave his favorite tea on the table next to him, still hot and perfect, without him asking for it. She would open the curtains in the morning to let sunlight pour into the dark rooms, making everything feel less like a tomb. She would put fresh flowers in vases around the house, flowers that smelled sweet and reminded Benjamin of when he used to walk through gardens instead of just staring at them. And sometimes, when she thought he was not paying attention, she would speak to him. Not long conversations, just little comments that felt warm and human. "The roses are beautiful today, Mr. Thornwood. Peter says the red ones are blooming better than they have in years. There is a storm coming tonight. I love the sound of rain on the windows. It makes me feel cozy inside. I found this book on the shelf while dusting. It looks interesting. Have you read it?" Benjamin never answered these comments. He would grunt or nod or pretend he had not heard. But secretly, he listened to every word. Her voice was like music in a house that had been silent for too long. One afternoon, 3 weeks after Lily started working there, something happened that changed everything. Benjamin was in the garden room, the special room where he could sit close to the windows and pretend he was outside. The sun was warm on his face. Birds were singing in the trees. For just a moment, he almost felt peaceful. Then he heard a crash from the hallway, followed by the sound of something breaking into a million pieces. Benjamin wheeled himself toward the noise, his heart beating faster. When he reached the hallway, he saw Lily standing there, frozen like a statue. At her feet lay the shattered remains of a crystal vase, one of the most expensive pieces in the entire mansion. Water spread across the marble floor like a silver puddle. White roses were scattered everywhere. Lily's face had gone pale. Her hands were shaking. She looked at Benjamin with eyes full of terror, and for the first time since she had started working there, she looked truly afraid. "I am so sorry, Mr. Thornwood," she whispered, her voice cracking. "I was carrying it to clean it, and it slipped from my hands. I know it was expensive. I know I should have been more careful. Please, I will pay for it. I will work extra hours. I will do anything. Just please do not fire me. I need this job. I really, really need this job." Benjamin stared at her, and something inside him shifted. This was the moment he had been waiting for, was it not? The moment when he could explode with anger and make someone else feel small and worthless, just like he felt every single day. This was his chance to prove that he was still powerful, still in control, even if his legs did not work anymore. But as he looked at Lily's frightened face, he did not feel powerful. He felt something else entirely. He saw the tears gathering in her eyes, threatening to spill over. He saw how her whole body was trembling. And suddenly, he remembered something from a long time ago. He remembered being 8 years old and breaking his mother's favorite lamp while playing with a ball in the house. He remembered how scared he had been, how certain he was that she would yell at him. But she had not yelled. She had knelt down, hugged him, and said, "It is just a thing, Benjamin. Things can be replaced. You cannot be replaced. I love you more than any lamp in the world." The memory hit him like a wave, so strong it almost knocked the breath out of his lungs. When was the last time he had thought about his mother? When was the last time he had remembered what it felt like to be loved, to be forgiven, to be treated like a human being instead of a broken object? "How much do you need this job?" Benjamin asked quietly. Lily looked up at him, surprised by his calm tone. Very much, sir. I have a little brother. He is only 10 years old. Our parents died 2 years ago in an accident, and now I take care of him. This job pays more than anything else I could find. Without it, I do not know how I would keep our apartment or put food on the table. He is all I have left in the world. Benjamin felt something crack inside his chest, something that had been frozen solid for 5 years. This girl was not just a maid. She was someone carrying her own heavy weight, her own pain, her own fear. She was just like him, trying to survive in a world that had taken something precious away. "What is your brother's name?" Benjamin heard himself ask. "Tommy," Lily said softly. "He is the sweetest boy you have ever met. He loves drawing pictures and playing with toy cars. He asks about you sometimes. He thinks it must be amazing to live in a house this big." Benjamin looked down at the broken vase, the scattered roses, the water spreading across his perfect, shiny floor. Then he looked back at Lily. "Clean up this mess," he said. "Then take the rest of the day off. Go home to your brother." Lily's eyes went wide. "You are not going to fire me?" "No," Benjamin said, and he felt strange saying it, like he was remembering how to be kind after forgetting for so long. "It was an accident. Accidents happen. Just be more careful next time." For a moment, Lily just stood there, staring at him like he had turned into a completely different person. Then, before Benjamin could stop her, she rushed forward and hugged him. Actually hugged him, her arms wrapping around his shoulders, her face pressing against his chest. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you so much, Mr. Thornwood. You have no idea what this means to me." Benjamin sat frozen in his wheelchair, not knowing what to do. No one had hugged him in 5 years. No one had touched him with kindness or warmth. He had forgotten what it felt like to have another person close to him, to feel their heartbeat, to know that someone cared. Slowly, carefully, like he was handling something that might break, Benjamin lifted one hand and patted Lily's back. It was awkward and stiff, but it was real. "You are welcome," he said quietly. Lily pulled back, wiping tears from her eyes. She was smiling now, that bright, beautiful smile that made the whole room feel lighter. "I will clean this up right away, and then I will work twice as hard tomorrow to make up for it." "Just do your job," Benjamin said, but his voice was not sharp anymore. It was softer, gentler, almost kind. That night, Benjamin sat alone in his bedroom, staring at the ceiling and thinking about everything that had happened. For 5 years, he had convinced himself that pushing people away was the only way to survive. He had built walls so high and so thick that nothing could get through. He had turned himself into a monster because being a monster meant never having to feel vulnerable or weak. But today, when he had chosen kindness instead of cruelty, something had changed. The walls had cracked just a little bit. Light had come through. And for the first time in 5 long years, Benjamin wondered if maybe, just maybe, there was still a chance for him to feel alive again. He thought about Lily and her little brother Tommy. He thought about how she came to work every day with a smile on her face, even though she was carrying such a heavy burden. He thought about how brave she was, how strong, how determined to make a good life for the person she loved. And he realized something that made his heart ache. Lily was not broken by her pain. She had turned her pain into purpose. She had chosen to keep going, keep fighting, keep hoping. She had everything to lose and nothing to gain, but she showed up every day with courage and grace. What was his excuse? He had money, comfort, people to take care of him. Yes, he had lost the use of his legs. Yes, his life had changed forever. But he still had a life. He still had a chance to do something meaningful, to be someone who mattered. He had just been too angry and too scared to see it. Benjamin closed his eyes and made a decision. Tomorrow, he would start being different. Not all at once, because change was hard and he was not used to being kind. But little by little, step by step, he would try to become the person his mother had raised him to be. The person he had been before the accident stole his hope away. And maybe, if he was lucky, Lily would be there to help him remember how. The next morning, Benjamin woke up with sunlight streaming through his window. He could not remember the last time he had let the curtains stay open all night. He could not remember the last time he had slept without nightmares chasing him through his dreams. Something had shifted inside him, something small but powerful, like a tiny seed beginning to grow in soil that had been frozen for too long. When Lily arrived for work that day, Benjamin was waiting in the breakfast room. This was unusual. He normally stayed in his study or bedroom until afternoon, avoiding everyone. But today, he wanted to see her. He needed to see her. Lily walked in carrying fresh flowers, and when she saw him sitting there, her face lit up with surprise and happiness. "Good morning, Mr. Thornwood. You are up early today." "I have been thinking," Benjamin said, and his voice sounded rusty, like he was using words he had forgotten how to say. "About your brother, Tommy. You said he thinks this house is amazing." "Yes, sir," Lily said carefully, like she was not sure where this conversation was going. "He has never seen anything like it. We live in a small apartment across town." Benjamin took a deep breath. What he was about to say felt strange and scary, but also right. "Would you like to bring him here? On Saturday, perhaps. He could see the gardens, the library, maybe have lunch. I have a collection of toy cars in the attic from when I was young. They are just sitting there collecting dust. He could have them if he wants." Lily's mouth fell open. She stood frozen for a long moment, the flowers still in her hands, staring at Benjamin like she could not believe what she had just heard. Then tears started rolling down her cheeks, and she was smiling and crying at the same time. "Mr. Thornwood, that would mean the world to him. To both of us. Are you sure? I do not want to impose or make you uncomfortable." "I am sure," Benjamin said, and he realized he actually meant it. "It is just a big empty house most of the time. It should have children's laughter in it again." That Saturday, Lily arrived with Tommy, and Benjamin felt his heart squeeze tight in his chest when he saw the little boy. Tommy had messy brown hair and big curious eyes. He wore his nicest clothes, which were still old and worn, but clean and carefully ironed. He held Lily's hand tight, looking around the mansion with wonder written all over his face. "Tommy, this is Mr. Thornwood," Lily said gently. "Remember your manners." Tommy walked up to Benjamin's wheelchair without any fear at all. Children were like that sometimes. They did not see the wheelchair or the disability. They just saw a person. "Hello, Mr. Thornwood. Thank you for inviting me to your house. It is the most beautiful place I have ever seen." "Hello, Tommy," Benjamin said, and found himself smiling. Actually smiling, something his face had almost forgotten how to do. "Would you like a tour?" For the next 2 hours, Benjamin showed Tommy around the mansion. He took him to the library and let him pick out books. He showed him the game room with its old pool table and chess sets. He took him to the attic and opened dusty boxes full of toys from Benjamin's childhood. Tommy's eyes grew wider with each new discovery. "You had all these toys when you were little?" Tommy asked, holding up a red racing car with silver stripes. "I did," Benjamin said. "And I would like you to have them now. All of them. They have been lonely up here for too long." Tommy looked at Lily, asking permission with his eyes. When she nodded, he threw his arms around Benjamin's neck and hugged him tight. "Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the nicest man in the whole world." Benjamin felt something break open inside his chest, something that had been locked away and guarded for 5 years. It was his heart, waking up after a long, cold sleep. He hugged Tommy back, feeling the boy's warmth, his life, his pure joy. And Benjamin realized something that made tears come to his eyes. This was what he had been missing. Not his legs. Not his ability to walk or run or dance. What he had been missing was connection, love, purpose. The feeling of mattering to someone, of making a difference in someone's life. They had lunch in the garden room, sandwiches and cookies that Bernard had prepared. Tommy talked non-stop, telling Benjamin about school and his friends and the pictures he liked to draw. Lily watched them with happy tears in her eyes, seeing her brother so joyful, so free. After Tommy left that day, clutching his box of toy cars like they were made of gold, Benjamin sat in the garden room for a long time. The sun was setting, painting the sky in colors of orange and pink and purple. The world looked different now. More beautiful. More alive. Like someone had turned up the brightness and the color and the sound. Lily came in to check on him before she left for the day. "Mr. Thornwood, I do not have words to thank you for what you did today. Tommy has not stopped talking about it. You made him so happy." "He made me happy too," Benjamin said quietly. "I had forgotten what that felt like." Lily sat down in the chair next to him, something she never would have dared to do weeks ago. "Can I ask you something?" "Yes." "Why did you change? What made you decide to let me in, to let Tommy visit, to stop being so angry at the world?" Benjamin thought about her question for a long moment. How could he explain something he barely understood himself? "I think," he said slowly, "I was angry because I thought my life was over. I thought that without my legs, I was not a real person anymore. I was just broken pieces that could never be whole again. But you showed me something different. You showed me that life is not about what you have lost. It is about what you choose to do with what you have left." Lily reached over and took his hand. Her hand was small and warm in his. "You were never broken, Mr. Thornwood. You were just hurting. There is a difference." "Call me Benjamin," he said. "Please. I think we are past the formal names now." "Benjamin," Lily said, testing the name on her tongue and smiling. "That is a good name. Strong and kind, just like you." "I am not kind," Benjamin said. "Not yet. But I am trying to be." "Trying is enough," Lily said. "Trying is everything." Over the next few weeks, the mansion changed. It was still big and beautiful, still filled with expensive things and perfect furniture. But now it felt different. It felt alive. Benjamin started opening the curtains every morning. He started eating meals in the dining room instead of alone in his study. He asked the staff about their families, their lives, their dreams. He apologized to the ones he had hurt with his cruel words. Tommy visited every Saturday, and those became Benjamin's favorite days. He taught the boy to play chess. He read him stories. He listened to Tommy's endless questions about everything in the world. And slowly, piece by piece, Benjamin started remembering who he used to be before the accident. The man who loved life. The man who cared about people. The man who believed in hope. One evening, about 2 months after Lily had first walked into his library, Benjamin asked her to stay after work. They sat together in the garden room, watching the stars come out one by one in the darkening sky. "Lily," Benjamin said, "I need to tell you something." "What is it?" she asked, concern filling her voice. "When you first came here, I wanted to destroy you. I wanted to make you as miserable as I was. I wanted you to quit and leave me alone in my darkness. But you would not leave. You kept showing up with your smile and your kindness and your refusal to let me push you away. And you saved me. You saved my life." "Benjamin," Lily said softly, "you saved yourself. I just reminded you that you were worth saving." "I need to make something right," Benjamin said, and his heart was pounding so hard he could hear it in his ears. "I need to live again. Really live, not just exist. And I cannot do that alone. I do not want to do that alone anymore." He turned his wheelchair to face her fully, looking into her eyes. "Lily, these past weeks with you and Tommy, I have felt more alive than I have in 5 years. You have given me back something I thought I had lost forever. Hope, joy, purpose. And somewhere along the way, I fell in love with you. Not because you work for me. Not because you are kind to me. But because you see me. The real me, underneath all the anger and fear. You see the man I used to be and the man I could still become." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "Benjamin, I love you too. I have loved you since the day you forgave me for breaking that vase. Since the day you chose kindness over cruelty. Since the day you opened your heart to Tommy and to me." "Don't move," Benjamin whispered, reaching for her hand. "Stay right here. Stay with me. Not as my maid. As my partner. as the person who makes me want to be better every single day. Help me learn to live again. Help me remember what it means to love and be loved." Lily leaned forward and kissed him, soft and gentle and full of promise. "I will stay," she whispered against his lips. "I will always stay." And in that moment, Benjamin understood something beautiful and true. He had spent 5 years thinking his life was over because his legs did not work. But he had been wrong. Life was not about walking or running or dancing. Life was about love. About connection. About choosing every single day to be brave enough to let people in, even when it was scary. Even when it hurt. His legs might never work again. But his heart was alive. His soul was free. And with Lily beside him, with Tommy's laughter filling his house, with hope lighting up the dark places inside him, Benjamin finally understood what it meant to truly live.